Your life starts now. I don't know if you ever thought about what I'm about to say before, but there is no other moment except for now. There is simply no other time in your life except for the present moment. The present moment is everlasting, and that is all we will ever have. We will never have any past. We will never have any future. All we will have is this particular moment that will last all of the eternity. So that's why there is simply no postponement of life. Like, if you want to do something, if your heart desires something, you should go for it. And I'm making this video to tell you that you should go for it. And I'm also here to tell you about how I've been going about this for the last year. Hi guys, my name is Polina. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. I'm excited to see you here today. And I just ran my first half marathon race on Sunday in Detroit. I am so happy that I finally did it. When I was preparing for it, I realized something very major. Like, I've been running for like 8 years now or so, ever since my freshman year of college. And that freshman year, I was really into running, and I ran my first 10K race. And right after that race ended, I told myself, oh, I want to run a half marathon. And I started telling people around me, like, oh, I want to run a half marathon, blah, blah, blah. And then I got sick, and then something else got in the way, so I ended up not doing it. But I kept telling people for years that I wanted to do a half marathon. And when I finally signed up for it, and when I finally trained for it, and now that I finally did it, I realized that 8 years had gone by. It was 8 years of me telling people that I wanted to do a half marathon without me taking any concrete action. It really hit me. I thought that it was maybe 3 years ago that I conceived this idea, but no, it's been 8 years, you know? The fact that I was procrastinating with something that I truly wanted to do for 8 full years is kind of terrifying. It just made me think about how our lives are just flying by, and sometimes we don't notice it, and sometimes we don't notice the flow of life, and we just keep postponing all these things that we will do at some point in our lives. But then once again, this point doesn't come unless you make it happen, unless you make it your priority to live right now, to live right here, to go after your dreams in this present moment, and make that, yeah, your absolutely top priority goal. In my case, I just signed up for the race over the summer. And then once I signed up, I knew that I'm responsible enough to train for it and to, you know, follow through with what I signed up for. But it took me 8 years to sign up. Why did that happen? I don't understand. So this Sunday in Detroit, I woke up and I got ready. I put on my running gear, and then I met a friend of mine with whom we ran together, and we walked to the start line, and I was stretching and everything. And then when we started running, I just felt like I was flying in a way. Of course, it got very hard throughout the course. But at the beginning, I was just running with all these people, and I was thinking to myself, I am living my dream. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to run a half marathon. My heart wanted to run a half marathon. Like, my whole being wanted to run. I love running. And here I am running in this city, in Michigan, exploring, traveling, everything. I'm so happy that I finally am doing things that I want to do, and I'm not letting others stop me. I'm not letting some sort of like stereotype stop me. I just want to do what I want to do, and here I am, you know? That was what was going on in my mind, and I was just so happy. So yes, I'm here to tell you that your life is comprised of these little moments that constitute the endless now, the endless present moment. So I suggest that you get very clear with what you want, with what your heart desires, with what your soul desires. You know, just tap into like your intuition, because I think that a lot of people do know what they want, but sometimes they just keep postponing it because they have to like take care of other responsibilities. And I'm not asking you to abandon all those other responsibilities. You should do whatever you want with those. But at the same time, make time for your life. Make time for your life, for your love, for your passion. Make time for things that make you feel alive. because your life starts now. Your life is here and now. I think we have this conception of life like, oh, life in the future will be so different, and our imagination just paints, these pictures of what our life could be like in some illusionary future that will actually never happen, because all we will ever have is now. So don't trick yourself into thinking that at some point down the line you will finally do all those things that you've ever wanted to do. No, carve out time for them now, starting today, whether it's a hobby, whether it's starting a business, whether it's meeting your partner, whether it's traveling. Like, start setting money aside for traveling. Start, researching things and making plans and signing up for things, because there is just no better time to do it than now. And also, because your life is here and now, I really encourage you to enjoy it even when it's hard. Even when it's hard, still try to find moments of joy. Try to find things that inspire you. Try to look for, something better, something that uplifts you. Because I think it's so easy to get dragged down when, something is very hard in our lives, or when we're going through a very difficult phase. But once again, we don't have any other life. Maybe we do, but we're just not aware of it. But, even when it's hard, the clock is still ticking. This is your life, so might as well try to make the most of it, even when it's hard. And try to pivot, try to change your perspective. Of course, it's easier said than done. But I think training yourself to do that just improves the quality of your life. There were times in my life when I went through kind of depressed phases, or where I was very low in terms of my emotional state. I felt very low for a prolonged period of time. But then after those phases would end, I would tell myself I don't want to live my life this way. I don't want to feel this way. This is my life, and I decide how I'm going to feel about it. I decide what I'm going to focus on. The power is truly in my hands. And ever since I had those experiences, I'm trying to always pivot and always find positives. And when I'm looking for positives, it's not I'm trying to be this uplifter person, or I'm doing it for others. I'm actually just doing it for myself, because when I notice positive things about my life, I feel better. Because who wants to feel bad, You generally want to feel better. And this is a great way to do it. This year, 2024, has been really great so far. I started following my heart much more than in the last year, and I started feeling much more in sync with myself. It's such a game changer. When you're doing something that you feel aligned on, it changes your whole experience of life. Last year, what I was trying to do is shove a square peg into the round hole, and it simply wasn't working for me. That's not who I was, and that's not what I wanted, but I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And that was very dissatisfying. I was not happy with my life. But this year, I'm just pursuing what I want, and I'm going at it full speed. And I will tell you about some things I did this year when I reflected on my life. So one is, yes, I started running much more and started signing up for races. I signed up for my second half marathon in December, so I'm really looking forward to that. I also applied for my green card and got my green card approved, and that was also a massive game changer. Yes, that was scary, and I didn't know whether everything was going to turn out the way I had hoped, but I was I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to go and do it despite my fear. I will face it, and let's see what happens, Another thing that I'm doing that brings me a lot of happiness is I'm currently enrolled in a software engineering bootcamp. I've been interested in coding for the last 2.5 years, and my background is in architecture. So what I'm looking to do is combine architecture and tech. And so I'm already really well versed in architecture with my previous 9 years of learning architecture, working in architecture, and just gaining all this very essential experience. But now I finally decided, despite any of my reservations, I decided to enroll in a software engineering bootcamp. So I'm learning that right now, and It just makes my heart really happy. Another thing I've been doing is booking more trips around the US and visiting new states. Like last weekend we went to Michigan. In 3 weeks I'm flying to Texas to see some friends. I've never been to Texas before. So I'm also in like exploratory mode, and I love exploring the US. It's an amazing country, a lot of amazing places to visit, and it's also very diverse. So yeah, you can have a lot of different experiences while traveling domestically. I'm also learning to love myself regardless of what others think of me or what others think I should be doing. I'm learning to respect my own path, and I'm also learning to not compare myself to others, because we are all truly unique individuals and everyone is on their own path, and there's no point in comparison. And then small things too, you know, like I got a new couch, and I've been wanting to get a new couch for some time now, but I was always postponing it and postponing it and postponing it. And then I was like, no, but this is my home and I want my home to be cozy and I want a new couch. So I'm gonna order a new couch and live with this new couch, because why wouldn't I do it, you know? Like, don't postpone your life. Find a way to do things that you want. There's always a way to do what you want, and usually not one way, you know, there are probably multiple ways to do what you want. So that's all I wanted to say in this video. I'm just here to remind you that your life is happening right now. So I encourage you to finish watching this video and just go and do something that you've been wanting to do. I will see you in my next video, guys. Bye.